Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric Williams. Today we're going to discuss an issue that affects millions of lives but is often overlooked: mental health crisis and its intersection with policing. The mental health crisis in our country is growing, and the role of law enforcement in addressing these situations has never been more critical. In our conversation today, I hope we can raise awareness about the urgent need for effective crisis intervention strategies that empower officers with the right tools, training, and partnerships to support individuals in distress. Let's first take a look at the scope of the issue. It's estimated that 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. experiences some form of mental illnesses each year. Many of these individuals unfortunately find themselves in contact with law enforcement during moments of crisis. For instance, studies show that police officers are often the first responders to mental health emergencies, with a significant percentage of calls involving individuals in psychiatric distress. The impact of these crises on individuals and families is profound. People struggling with mental health challenges often face isolation, stigma, and a lack of adequate resources. When law enforcement officers are not equipped to handle these situations, the result can be tragic for all parties involved. Families are left heartbroken, individuals are hurt or incarcerated, and officers are placed in difficult, sometimes dangerous situations. Police officers are dedicated to protecting and serving our communities, but when it comes to mental health crisis, they're often caught in the middle. These situations require specialized knowledge and response strategies, not just a typical law enforcement approach. Unfortunately, many officers receive minimal training on mental health issues, which can result in misunderstandings, escalation, or even harm. The consequence of this lack of training can be severe, including injury, death, or prolonged trauma for those in crisis. Let me share an example. In one case, a young woman suffering from severe anxiety and schizophrenia was having a panic attack. She called 911 for help, but was met by officers who were not trained in de-escalating mental health emergencies. The situation rapidly escalated, resulting in her hospitalization and further trauma. This is a scenario that could have been avoided with the proper training and crisis intervention tools. So what can be done? There are proven models and strategies that we can look to for inspiration. One such model is Crisis Intervention Team, CIT, which train officers to recognize the signs of mental illness, defuse tense situations, and connect individuals to the appropriate mental health resources. CIT has been successfully implemented in cities across the country, showing that when law enforcement is trained to handle mental health crises, the outcome for individuals and communities are significantly better. Training programs that focus on understanding mental health issues, communication techniques, and de-escalation are essential, but it's not just about training officers, it's about creating collaboration with mental health professionals. Partnerships between law enforcement and mental health organizations can ensure that individuals in crisis can get the help they need rather than being processed through the criminal justice system. The benefits of improving crisis intervention are far-reaching. First, it helps reduce the stigma surrounding mental health. When officers handle mental health crises with compassion and understanding, it sends a message that mental illness is an issue to be addressed with care, not punishment. Improved crisis intervention strategies also lead to enhanced trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Communities are more likely to trust a police officer that is seen as equipped to handle sensitive situations with empathy and professionalism. For individuals in crisis, the outcome can be life-changing. They are less likely to be incarcerated, they are more likely to receive the proper mental health care, and they are less likely to experience the trauma of a negative encounter with police. So what can we do moving forward? It's essential that we as a community advocate for the mental health crisis intervention strategies that are desperately needed. This starts with supporting mental health initiatives in our communities, whether it's through local funding or volunteering for mental health organizations. Each of us can play a role in supporting better care for those in crisis. We must also advocate for policy changes that provide law enforcement with necessary resources for training and collaboration. Better funding for mental health crisis intervention programs and comprehensive training for officers are not just necessary, they're urgent. Call to action. Lastly, we need to foster deep partnerships between law enforcement and mental health professionals. Together we can build systems that support individuals in crisis rather than stigmatize or criminalize them. In closing, I want to reiterate the importance of this conversation. Mental health crises are a reality in our communities, and the way law enforcement responds has a direct impact on the lives of those involved. By raising awareness and advocating for better training, collaboration, and resources, we can ensure that individuals experiencing mental health crisis receive the care and support they need. I hope we leave here today with a renewed sense of urgency and purpose. Together we can create a future where mental health crises are met with understanding, compassion, and effective intervention. Thank you for your time and attention.